Hey, quick pre-roll shout out to OnWeCaster, the open source platform we use to record our podcast episodes with guests. They support open source charity programs like Innovate for Vegas Foundation by offering their platform for free. And for that, we thank them. Visit ecaster.com, that's ECASTR.com, for more information and to try them out. Now, on with the show. Welcome to another episode of Let's Innovate for Vegas. This is episode 14. I am your host, Dan Hugo. Today we'll be speaking with the one and only Josh Leavitt about building Talks.Vegas, and we'll even tell you what that is. Hi, Josh. Good morning. It is morning on the 26th of May.
It is morning, and it's so early you get my good radio voice.
Nice.
Because, that sleep is still wearing off.
Yeah. Well, this is allergy season for anybody listening not in allergy season in Vegas, so there's always something in the air. My voice will go from like, hey, to ladies and gentlemen. That is unaltered. Nice. That's me. That's my morning voice. That's my morning voice. Anyway, so we're there's a couple of things that have come up. Your name has come up quite a bit this week so far, in good things. So I wanted to start the ball. We talked about doing something like this, and this will be the audio version, but behind the scenes or kind of getting this up and running. So Talks.Vegas is a thing. I think we actually got our thumb up for the theater yesterday.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say, because we wrote a pretty good sort of, you think about that, right? With text messages nowadays, you write out sort of a well thought sort of question or whatever, and then you get the thumb up, and you're like, I guess that's the answer now. I don't know. I was sort of expecting you to get a little more input, but I'll take that as the affirmative.
Sure. Will that hold up in court? I hope so. So what are we talking about? What is Talks.Vegas? So generally, I will start with this. It's sharing the story of the greater Vegas, not only entrepreneurial ecosystem, but just people of Vegas and nearby Vegas, outside. Vegas, by the way, we've had this discussion this week. The city of Las Vegas has official boundaries. Vegas to the world is a much bigger place. So the people of Vegas telling stories to the world. What do you think of that? What is that? What conjures in your mind from that?
Well, first of all, So in the spirit of Talks.Vegas, do you know why? There's only a small portion of Vegas. Why the strip isn't in Vegas? Do you ever hear why?
My relatives in New Jersey probably know the answer to this, but I will let you.
They probably do. Yeah. So when basically it's a tax dodge. So right. When especially gaming came out, and I suppose they want to, not when gaming came out, but when maybe some of your relatives from New Jersey wanted to build some casinos, they went right to the outskirts of city limits and started building it. And when the cities finally said, hey, we want you to be part, we see what you're doing, we want you to be part of Vegas, the county said, we're going to protect these people, and we're going to create a unincorporated city called Paradise. I don't even know if it's a city. It's just maybe it's a city. I have no idea. And it's really an oddity that you have a population of 250,000 people in unincorporated Clark County, which isn't even supposed to have services. It's a really interesting kind of tax dodge scenario there. But yeah, there you go. That's why Vegas is quite small.
Right, and also Enterprise is another unincorporated part of Clark County. And this is when I lived in Arizona in the Maricopa County, Phoenix area. There's also the outskirts of town are unincorporated, and the sheriff, the county will do policing. So there's no police force, there's no services, right? So that's an interesting story. Maybe somebody could do a talk about that.
Yeah,
we should build a platform. Well, and it's funny because people of the world believe that Las Vegas, all the same thing. It's all the strip, it's all the lights, and it's actually when I was traveling. Some people have heard this already. I used to travel quite a bit for Intel, and everybody has their impression of Vegas outside of here, that it's the strip. That's it. And so you just hang out on the strip all the time, and I'd say, well, of course, that's all we do. But right. There's more to it, and that's part of the deal. Is there is more to there? It's not just the MSG Sphere, which is now just the Sphere, I guess, and the A's Stadium, and there's all these news stories that make headlines, but very rarely do people hear about Tech Alley or What is First Friday? It's on Friday this month. And people doing startups, small business owners, people actually doing normal things, not just gambling and cavorting. So that's part of the motivation for this. But yeah, everybody has a story. You should be able to educate, inform, and entertain. And so that sounds like a nice pitch, but we have to actually do things now. And part of what has come up this week, I said we were talking about you a little bit. Las Vegas, or the greater Vegas ecosystem, as I've been saying, greater Vegas, see, because we're going to be greater, is if it is indeed an innovation hub, you have to be able to do things. And people like you are enabling that. So you're enabling innovation in our ecosystem. So I will say for our listeners that I said, hey, Josh, let's do a pitch workout room. We did a pitch workout room. That was last year. This year, it's, hey, Josh, let's do Talks at Vegas. He said, okay, let's do it. So that, in a nutshell, is how innovation happens, in my opinion. What do you think?
I think that I have the easy part by saying, oh, yeah, you came up with the idea, right? And I love it. I think that's, I think you're right. That's how innovation happens. That's how execution, happens. As you heard me say many times, ideas are easy, right? It's actually making it happen that's the difficult part. And again, I have a platform, Tech Alley. We have the ability to, assist when people want to share knowledge. That's what our whole purpose is, right? Is to make sharing knowledge easy. And you coming up with this thought, of course, let's make it happen. You're the brains behind it. I got the easy part, which just is giving you a venue space to do it, right?
Yeah. Well, and Daz from the theater, which is officially, what is it called? Is it the Arts Factory? What is that theater called? Just so we can give the shout out.
So it's the Vegas Theater Co. is, I think what they go by now. It used to be called, I think the Cockroach Theater, which is interesting, right. But now it's I think it goes by the Vegas Theater Co. And so it's I don't know if you knew this. It's a nonprofit theater that is focused on getting art out there, or the arts out there, and so it's a great partner of ours as well. So yeah.
Yeah, so we literally text message. The modern era is all texting. So it was, hey, can we do this? And a thumbs up, as we were just talking about this. So official, dispense with signatures and wax seals and whatnot. It's a thumb up on a text. But yeah, so we're going to kick this off at just like the pitch workout room, to not upset the existing schedule, because Tech Alley is only getting more packed in. There's tons and tons of stuff going on, and people are meeting and talking and chatting. So 9 a.m. we don't have to interrupt the established schedule and meet up arrangements and so on. So early risers, just like pitch workout room last year, we can do. We can get a little audience. We're gonna capture nice video and we'll publish it to the world. We have a YouTube channel, and it sounds simple. That's easy. It's a piece of cake. We're done.
Yeah, and I like the 9 o'clock area time, because I don't think that this, the show itself, right, the recording and the presentation itself is really audience, big audience isn't required, right? As long as you have the speaker, we're going to record it. It's going to be on YouTube.
Sure.
And the message, I think, is the important piece of this.
Oh, yeah.
Not so much the interaction, right, with the audience. Unlike the pitch workout room, you needed an audience in order to get feedback. And this one, it's purely about sharing these ideas to a greater group of people out there in the YouTube sphere.
I will mildly disagree with that, because, not strongly, but speaking to a camera is fine. People do it all the time now. There's an entire economy built on that. But having now done some open mic comedy again, I hadn't done it in a long time, but I got up on stage, and an audience, it doesn't have to be 100 or 1,000 people. It could be 10, but sure. having people to talk to, not just a camera or not an empty room, it adds something. You do get a little bit of feedback. You'll hear if people, you'll see in their faces actually if they're not quite hearing you, or if they don't quite see what you're saying, or so that feedback I think is valuable. So a little audience is fine. We don't need a 25,000.
Yeah, we agree on that, right? I was just saying it wasn't as dependent. What does that theater hold? 80 people. It'll be difficult
probably
to get that probably difficult to get that at 9 a.m. But anyway, do you know what I love about the theater? Here's the thing, and I'm so excited about using it, is you never know what the backdrop is going to be, because they host a bunch of different events, right? And so you one day it could be, Christmas theme, or it could be, who knows?
Yeah.
It's always really interesting.
And as an example, as we were talking about this, I pointed to an early TED Talk, for example. No trademark infringement, please. And it was one of my favorite talks is Malcolm Gladwell giving a presentation about spaghetti sauce, and he's on a stage that has some musical instruments, and it's kind of it looks like stage carpeting. It looks like very thin. I think it's purple or something. But the important part is he's telling a story about spaghetti sauce, and it's actually quite interesting. And that's what matters. So having a stage, it's really more like, can we hear you, and is the video watchable? I think those would be, does it look nice? But is the person's story good? And we should point out, I think we're in total agreement on this. It's not about selling or pitching. We do that enough here in Vegas. The pitch workout room, for example, we do that all the time. This is stories. That has been something, because people, I've said, hey, would you be interested? And they're like, oh, I can talk about my startup. I'm like, well, like, how would you? What story would you tell? If I'm putting you on the spot now, what would you get up and talk about if you were doing it this morning? You're doing it this morning anyway.
Yeah. So there's a couple topics. One, going all the way from, putting a framework, building an ecosystem, right, or building a tech startup community like we did, all the way to I suppose, I have ADD. What was it like being treated untreated, and how did it affect my ability to complete things, right, in some instances, or tackle multitask stuff. I think that would be an interesting subject. It might even be, what's it like growing up in a story of growing up again in a community like Las Vegas, where there's a very limited occupations outside of the resort industries, and eventually get into a technology career, eventually becoming a CIO of a company, right? And the challenges that maybe some of the folks here face. I don't know if you know this, and this is something I always like to talk about, but Vegas is dead last in chances for success, right? And when it comes to looking at our youth, and it's not a consequence of economic standing or so on, but it's really just a consequence of our economy, where people can make $50,000, $100,000 without a high school degree, right? Getting tips. And what does that actually mean to an economy like ours? Anyway, I'd love to talk about things like these, lessons learned, and hopefully share some knowledge that way.
Yeah, and I think as I said earlier, people have an impression, and that probably rolls all the way out to why would I want to move to Vegas? I go there and visit for a couple days, but I can't imagine living there. So they really don't understand, or they just don't know that there's an entire population of real normal people doing interesting things, at least normal things, but interesting things beyond the Strip, which is it's a dot on the map of a larger place. And also to that point, and you probably have similar stories, but I had asked our celebrity podcast guest, Jamie Schwartz, when she was growing up here. I say she's celebrity, so she argues with me, but too bad. I had the impression, I think as most people do, that Vegas has kind of always been like this. And she said, it wasn't the same. It was much smaller when she was growing up in high school and early days of college at UNLV, I think. Of course, UNLV. And but you kind of think like, oh, everything is going to be going to concerts or going to pick your choice. And she said back a while ago. I think she's just turned 21. So recently, though, no, I'm just kidding. I'm up here doing my comedy. Sorry.
Yeah,
but
I grew up in Vegas.
Oh, exactly. So I was gonna come around to you and say, like, so when you were growing up, and this could be an entire interesting topic, I think. What is it like growing up in Las Vegas? Because people have an impression of what it's like being here, but what is it like growing up in this environment? And what was it like when you were younger versus now?
Yeah, I'd love to tell that story, because it's tremendously different. And then, again, we can save this for maybe when the TED Talks. But I think Jamie even said it. It wasn't too long ago. Reno was the biggest city in Nevada, right?
Yeah.
And we were a very small town. I tell people this though, and just to give a sample, I'm still salty that we don't get local discounts. I really am. I mean, I remember when that started going away, and you'd go there and say, all right, I'd like a ticket to a show, and they go, okay, it's whatever, $20, and you go, where's my my local discount? And they go, well, we're not doing that anymore. And you go, how dare you? I'm out. I'll never come here again. I missed that. I missed that tremendously. So basically, I'd say this. I'd love to tell a story how at one time owners of these casinos would love to have locals come to their their establishment, and they'd brag and so on. Nowadays, there's just no connection to me in the Strip, right? It's insane. But that'd be a fun story to tell. I love it.
I agree, and again, it's stuff that isn't the normal, and that's the goal here. Although, just to a minor also correction, not TED Talks. I actually one of our co-founders of a project I'm working on, Evelyn, is pushing or focusing on ACE. She calls it Artists, Creators, and Entrepreneurs. So I was like, oh, we could do ACE Talks instead of TED Talks. TED Talks is a trademark, of course. But yeah, because TED is, I don't remember what it stands for. Totally spacing, but it's an acronym.
It with somebody's name. I was like, this TED guy's pretty popular.
It's an acronym, which I could look up right now, but we don't have to worry about them. We're not going to be TED Talks anyway. But yeah, so the key though, so we're doing Talks.Vegas. There will be a website. And another funny thing is you and I are both armies of one mostly. We do have people around us that help out, but at the end of the day, Josh is doing the work of 10 people. Would you agree with that, or is it 20?
I don't know. I'm just surprised stuff gets accomplished, to be honest with you. I don't know how many people, but it's weird. I read that book, 4 Hour Work Week, and I tried to live by some of the lessons in there. But the problem I tell people is I just filled up every other hour with something else to do. So
yeah, exactly.
Anyway, as long as things are getting accomplished, which sometimes is a struggle, I'm doing all right.
Yeah, I always quote my one of my former. He was from East Germany, which is now just Germany, but Erfurt, East Germany. He and his colleagues there had a startup. They had a house that they all lived in, kind of a startup house. Interesting. And it was Detlef Jeanette, and he said, Dan, we work 24 hours in the day, and then we work at night. And I said, wow, that's Silicon Valley thinking right there.
Yeah. Half days, right? Half days, 12 hours on, 12 hours off.
Yeah, I mean that's but I mean it's people, and we were talking about this yesterday. In fact, so the 25th of May, that there are certain people in Vegas, yourself, Jamie, a couple others, that you two are probably the most high profile in the entrepreneurial space. That everybody just kind of knows you because you're either enabling things or you're connecting people, and not totally scalable. You cannot possibly keep up with that influx of. Hey, somebody told me I have to talk to you about this. Oh, geez, everybody says that, right? But that is, it is people like you that are enabling this stuff. And that brings us back around to what I started with, which is like, this is how you do things in Vegas to be innovative. You just do it. And some people can be a part of like, yeah, let's do it.
I'll tell you something. I'm getting a little frustrated with some of the folks, right, that are out there. Not folks, but organizations, I would say, that aren't actually doing it. More complainers than doing, right?
Yes.
It's always the same sort of thing that they complain about, especially when you look at talent development or recruitment and so on. When there's so many other new innovative ways outside of, we put an ad in the paper and nothing happened type of things. There's a lot of talent here. It's just you got to find that creative way to attract them to your company. It's anyway, I mean, it's about doing. It's about being innovative. It's about not sticking to what has always worked, and that might be some of the issues. Some of these organizations here in Nevada have just gotten so big that no one wants to make a decision, anymore outside of the leadership. Who knows?
That could be. I have found. Okay, so first of all, to your point about just. There is no local press covering the entrepreneurial ecosystem comments that have floated around. I agree. And then, so what do you do about it? And to what you just said, to your point, is you can either say that and then say, or you can say, wait a minute, local media, we can all do that now. Whether it's podcasting or blogging or writing, publishing entire websites or YouTube channels. Hey, we're doing some of those things right now, and other things we're building. So I think there is no one doing this. If you're entrepreneurial, the next step is, so we should change that.
100%.
There was no Tech Alley before 2 years ago, and congratulations on 2 years, by the way.
Thank you.
So, so the big thing will be, so we will get the platform. We'll have at least 2 cameras and a microphone and our stage. Maybe we'll have some audience. So we have a platform all summer, June, July, August. We'll see if we extend. The plan is to align with Global Entrepreneur Week, which is in November, which is ending when the Formula One race is going on. So sometime during that week, we'll probably do maybe a cool version of Talks Out Vegas, but all summer. So now we need the most important part, people to tell stories. Speaking of recruiting people.
I think there's a lot of stories out there. I mean, we hear them all the time, right? And,
Absolutely.
Again, something outside of, we're surrounded by folks that are in the in the tech and entrepreneurs that are doing things. But I'm always fascinated by one, especially again like Vegas. How did people get into technology when there really isn't a big technology presence here prior to things like what Tony Hsieh was doing and Tech Alley and what we're seeing today's. But more importantly, how do you come up with ideas? How do you execute on ideas? How do you see success? I don't know, man. I just there's a lot of folks out here, a lot of diversity, a lot of stories, and I'm anxious to hear what they are.
Sure. Well, I mean, yes, there's not a lot of technology immediately visible, but there are a lot of physicists here from the nuclear testing days, and there's still a test site. So technically, there is technology here. And these are the sorts of stories that would be interesting, right? Like you hear about the atomic saloon, atomic liquors, but they used to sit on the roof and watch the test site, so it would be glowing. Is that let's hear a real story from somebody who was there. Like that would be interesting, I think.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, there's and I have to say, there's such a reflex now to want to give a pitch or to talk about my startup. And I keep telling people, don't talk about the story getting to how did you come up with the idea, or what problem are you really trying to solve, not your business. In fact, you should probably never even mention the name of your company, but just what you're trying to accomplish. That's the story part. And so I think it'll be interesting. There's part of the reason I want to do this also is we have a giant veterans population here. So surely there will be some stories there. We have people like Taylor Cheney, I can't remember her last name. She has Dig It Coffee. She's got a great story about creating a workplace for people with maybe not getting jobs normally. It's her sister. She's inspired by her sister's medical condition. So I'll leave that there and have her tell a story. But there are people here with stories that are actually doing amazing things, and they kind of get like, you're not doing anything with gaming or tourism, so it just doesn't get on the radar. But we have a giant radar dish that we can start finding and sharing. So I think that's cool.
Yep, very good. Yeah.
Don't forget it's early.
it is early, right? But no, I think you're saying it all right. It's good. I'm excited. We're going to execute it. It's already coming up. The first? It's going to be in June 17th. I think it's June 17th. And that's going to be, before we know it, it's going to be here, right? So yeah, we got to capture a couple of those first guests. I'm getting that audio and video system set up. We got the venue spot. You got the YouTube channel.
We even have, thanks to Don Jacobson, as always. Don is about, if he can, he does basically enable people. He's another Josh Leavitt, or maybe you're another Don Jacobson. I'm not sure.
I think I'm a Don. He's that actually sounds cool. It sounds mafioso, right? I'm a Don. But no, he is. I mean, talking about an enabler, right? You think I say really easy? That guy immediately, he makes arrangements. Even when he's not even available, he'll make arrangements so that people can leverage that city space to bring people together. It's really neat.
So we have the 17th. If you're listening to this after June, it will have been on June 17th, which is Saturday, of course, third Saturday. But on the 15th, Thursday night, I said, "Hey Don, we need some rehearsal, probably a couple hours. Get a couple times for each person if we fill up the hour, etc." And he's like, "Okay, sounds good." Because he's not a pushover, but he very, you just say, here's how we're elevating the community. He's like, "We're all in." If I said we're having a paid gathering, then you're renting the space and all that stuff. But if it's community elevation or value to the big picture, he's all for it. And he's like, yep, no problem, done.
Mm-hmm.
So that again is how an innovation hub has to function. Is you need people that don't ask for, like, I'm going to need some justification or documents, or like, no. We need a contract. Yeah. This. It's exciting that things can come together. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I would say maybe that's still the old Vegas way, right? It's
handshake.
It's handshake. There you go. Man, no worries, man. You're a good fella, right? You're a good guy. We got you. Type of thing. Who knows? I don't know. Yeah, dude. So I guess we'll see how this kicks off in just a few weeks. It's going to be quick.
Yeah, and I hope if people are listening to this either before, during, or after, and into the future as we're rolling this out, I think often people don't, because it's behind the scenes. They don't, and we have talked, by the way, about doing a sort of behind the scenes. Maybe we'll get the rehearsals if we have time to coordinate that. How we put this together, kind of thing. I think often the production is seen from the outside, and it's like, oh, okay, great. But the effort and the coordination and the people doing the things that people saying yes without worrying too much about the why and the how, and they just say, yeah, we'll make it happen. So I will appreciate all the efforts of the people I've mentioned and the people that are participating, because it's not just snapping the fingers. So that's how innovation happens.
Right. I love it. All right, man. I guess we'll check back in a few weeks. Looking forward to it.
I do. Well, hopefully if people are able to watch videos, it will have worked, which the proof will be in the pudding and the videos, as they say. And there you go. So hopefully people will come to Tech Alley and be in the audience if they're up early. And if not, there will always be July and August. And tell your story. There will be a website. The websites don't happen with snapping of the fingers either, because we want to be able to coordinate some of the video content as well. So the videos will appear there and so on. So anyway, this project is literally, as I'm speaking right now, like 5 days old. So things are coming together very nicely. It's very exciting. It all started, and all we need is access to capital. We'll be fine.
That's the secret, right? Access to capital. Who's going to pay for this stuff? All right, perfect, man.
The power of volunteering. All right. Well, it's already it's almost 8:30 in the morning. We're already on to the second 4-hour work week. So
that's right.
Mine started at midnight. I don't know about yours. So, or third, I should say. Anyway, I can't do comedy this morning. I'm going to let you go because, believe it or not, Josh has more things to do. He's barely just started, and I have another podcast to record actually after this. With somebody else, with Dylan Bathurst, if anybody remembers Downtown Project, Rummager. So,
very cool.
Yeah. So there you go. I will leave it there, but talks.vegas, it's literally talks.vegas on YouTube, DOT, talks, DOT, Vegas, and then talks with a period, Vegas will be the website, and you'll see us at Tech Alley, and you'll see us on YouTube, and you'll see us all around town, and hopefully we'll make the national media at some point. That would be cool.
Mm-hmm. I agree. All right, man.
All right. Have a good morning. Thanks for listening.